Readings Caffeine Rage here, and you're gaming with Rage. Yes, it's that exciting time again where we start a brand new series. This time it's Dust: An Elysian Tale, a Metroidvania platformy brawler produced by Humble Hearts Limited, or LLC. I think that's limited, right? But honestly, it's a one-person developer, which is really amazing to me. The fact that I know obviously he had some help, especially in the voice talent, but a majority of this game was made by one guy. So that just says a lot to me about the type of person that builds a game from the ground up to be exactly what they want. It's part of the reason why I actually really like Dwarf Fortress, which is another labor of love, but that's another series. This time we're focusing on Dust: An Elysian Tale. And I honestly don't have too much experience in the genre. I started playing games in the Nintendo in the Nintendo Entertainment System era, which was really the golden age for the Metroidvania style games. But sadly, I never played Metroid or Castlevania in the heyday. Actually, I've never played them at all now that I think about it. So this is really me going into this genre, not quite for the first time, because I'm sure that I've played games that could be classified as Metroidvania before, but this is going to be a unique experience. So let's go ahead and get started. As with most of my blind Let's Plays, which this is going to be blind, I have played a little bit of the game, usually about as with always, usually about the first episode or so is what I've already played. But I deleted all my saves, so we are starting fresh. So let's go empty slot 1, because that sounds as good as any. And now comes the difficult choice. I don't want to go casual because no death penalty. That seems a little bit too much, too easy. Typically, I love going whenever they say normal for our first playthrough, especially for a new series. But let's take a look at the others. We have Tough, which is increased difficulty, and honestly, I'm not a seasoned player of action games. And then Hardcore, which, is scary, especially when I don't have experience. So we'll go normal, and if it's too easy, I did check, I can change the difficulty without restarting. So I don't feel too bad about going lowballing it a little and coming back up as things get a little too easy. So let's go opening cutscene.
Our world has fallen to fade, its great works long since complete, its storied civilizations long since fallen to dust. The greatest legends of Elysium long since forgotten. What was once a land of promise has fallen to the ravages of war. And it was in this, our most desperate hour, that the greatest of Elysian tales began. The lone warrior stood against an army, slashing his way through all who opposed him. The mob
interactive cutscene.
And the soldier showed no mercy. But despite his victories, his skills, his ruthlessness, the valiant soldier would perish on this day. Not to the mob, but to a single child.
Dust, dust, arise.
What? A talking sword? What are you?
A talking sword.
Which you have summoned?
Summoned? How? For what purpose?
That I do not know. But we shall learn in time. Now rise and claim the blade of Ara.
Stop! Stop right there!
And who is she?
Me? I'm Fidget. guardian of his sword.
Okay, and we have our first choice, and this is our analog for Navi. Only she's not nearly as annoying as Navi from the Legend of Zelda series, thankfully. Oh. I don't think I would be playing this game if Navi was in this game. Oof. A lot of bad memories, and I've never actually completed a Zelda game because, well, that's a long story. But I'm sure we'll have time, and that's also a different genre.
I'm sorry, I think I misheard before. You said your name was Fidget?
Hey, this isn't about me. You're the one who's got my sword. How about you tell me your name?
I'm...
Calm yourself, Fidget. His name is Dust, and he is the one who woke me from my slumber.
So, Fidgets, then?
That's me. And you're Dust?
It would seem that way, though I can't recall that name.
Great, a bout of amnesia. Okay, let's see. Let's just go ahead and go through the options because, honestly, I really like the voice acting when I've heard of it, at least. They've brought a lot of character to the different, well, characters. That's actually a bad way to say it now that I think about it, because it's saying character twice in the same sentence. But they brought a lot of liveliness to the characters, I should say. So let's go ahead and hear a little bit more.
No offense, but aren't you a bit, well, small? For a guardian, I mean.
Hey, I just look after that thing. After 200 years, nobody expects the sword to just fly off and start, talking. I'm kind of wishing somebody told me this was part of the job description. Or maybe they did, and I just wasn't paying attention. Yeah, that happens sometimes.
I think we've all been there, haven't we? And she's a 200-year-old guardian, at least. Okay.
So, what is this sword?
I am the Blade of Ara, and you, Dust, are my fated sword bearer.
Yes, well, that's all great and everything, but I think it's about time I got this sword back to the clan.
I can't let you just leave with this sword, Fidget. Right now, it's the only thing that knows who I am. I don't even know how I got here.
Well, then you leave me no choice. I challenge you! The winner gets the sword!
Okay,
I don't have time for these games, Fidget.
Indeed, time is of the essence. Fidget, you will join us.
I will? Oh, well, okay then.
Come, Dust. We travel east.
And that is our opening. And yes, I realize east is that way. I actually hadn't checked this way before, so in my test, so I'm glad I did. The treasure key is actually kind of important to find, so it's always fun to find interesting little things. This is a Metroidvania style game, so all sorts of hidden little things that I do not expect to find the majority of. The glade. Yes, simple, A to jump. As you may be guessing, I'm using the gamepad to play this because I don't really hate myself enough to try to play a platformer with a mouse and keyboard.
What is it?
Well, my kind has what you'd call a sixth sense. And there's something just ahead.
Alright, now we have the ability to dodge. It plays, at least what I've tried out so far, a lot more like a brawler than most of the games of this genre, the Metroidvania style genre. I keep getting interrupted by cutscenes.
Correction. We found a locked chest.
Well, what are you waiting for? Smash it open.
That would be unwise, Dust. These chests are protected by arcane locks from the last era, and are well beyond my capabilities.
I suppose we'll need a key then.
Well, we found a key earlier, but the thing is, do we want to use it right now? And Let's go ahead and open up the quest log since we picked up that before. Yeah, it's basically just telling us about the keys in the treasure chest. And that's our primary quest. Let's go ahead and open up the chest. Quick little matching game, and we get all sorts of goodies. A little bit of gold, some materials, which this is an inventory. Let's see. Yeah, we could put a quick healing item on the left button to quickly heal in combat without having to drop to a menu, which is a nice feature. Ooh. That is a nice thing. Basically a 1-up. And that looks expensive. 8,000 gold when we have, what, 55? Always nice to find something expensive right in the get-go. Feels like the beginning of Bambi now. Only without the forest fire. And all the crying.
Calm yourself, Fidget.
So much for no crying.
Remember what you've learned thus far.
No! Mash the buttons! Do something!
Goodbye, fourth wall. But yeah, a lot more brawly than most Castlevania games I've played. Even though I've never really completed one.
Said anything about monsters.
Strange. Where did I learn these skills?
You wield the Blade of Ara, and with it, all the skills imbued therein.
Hello? Monsters?
Is that why I summoned you? To control this power?
It is unlikely, Dust, that I would awaken from my slumber for such selfish reasons. There is a village beyond these woods. Perhaps finding it will aid in restoring your memories.
And then we'll be in the clear, right? No more monsters?
Fidget, I think things are about to get a whole lot worse.
And to think, this morning started off so well. At least take these feeble fruits. Something tells me you're gonna need them.
But I have mysterious wall chickens. Don't you see? Which I do realize is a Castlevania reference. Alright, save monument. So that's our checkpoint system. Just cutting through them like a lawnmower, really. Ah. Got pinned against the wall. But, yeah, one thing I've really done that kind of sets this game apart from a lot of games these days is the anthropomorphic style of animal characters, which the internet has really ruined. Growing up, I remember Sonic and Banjo-Kazooie and Crash Bandicoot, AAA games with animal characters, but now you rarely see an animal-based character in a AAA game, which I realize AAA games is kind of a misnomer, but especially considering A is supposed to be quality, which a lot of AAAs these days seem to forget.
Hold here, Dust. You have unlocked a new ability. Bear witness to the dust storm.
I like it.
Hold the secondary attack to perform the dust storm. But beware, skilled as you may be, you cannot maintain the storm for long without hurting yourself.
In that case, maybe I can help. If you press the super ballistic fidget action button of power, I'll perform an attack so spectacularly awesome that it'll produce emotions you didn't even know existed. Please contain yourselves as I demonstrate.
That was, very pretty.
Well, maybe I'll just keep the rest of my repertoire to myself.
I'm sorry, Fidget. I'm sure it'll come in handy somehow.
Actually, Dust, between the three of us, this could be quite useful. The Dust Storm can manipulate Fidget's projectile into a more powerful attack. Observe.
Wow! Oh, by the way, every time I use my power, it'll use up a bit of energy meter. You can recharge the meter with melee combos.
Yes, Dust. Between your combos and Fidget's own powers, you can achieve a higher hit chain, which will yield bonus experience after each battle. However, if you are struck by an enemy, the chain will be broken, and you will lose your bonus experience.
All right, I think I understand.
If this is all too much for you, you can check out the help screen via the pause menu.
Thanks, Fidget. I'll take a look if I'm ever in trouble.
I didn't realize real life had a pause menu. Oh. Trying to actually find a place where I don't have a ton of enemies around me, which is proving to be difficult. Yeah, so far not too difficult, but then again, this is the opening area, so it's a bit too early to judge the game's difficulty and if I need to adjust it. Because honestly, most games do not throw huge challenges to you at the very beginning. Well, outside, you know, things like Super Meat Boy and Dark Souls and that sort of thing. But, you know, I don't think this game is that evil. One thing I am noticing is that I'm losing track of my character a little bit, so I think it's mostly just inexperience in the genre. But a nice hit chain there. But I was talking about AAA's, you know, not really doing this art style anymore. I mean, you'll still see some Japanese-based games, but honestly, a lot of games these days just aren't interested in doing anything beyond realistic style.
Hey, you just leveled up.
Is that what I did? Feels good. Great, even.
As it should, Dust. You've acquired a skill gem. Open the character screen through the inventory to upgrade your abilities and become even more powerful.
Okay, time to level up. And looks like they force you to spread them out. You can only be within 4 of the lowest stats. So, interesting way to not to completely ignore your defense or Fidget, depending on what your game style is. I think first thing we're going to do is attack, because let's face it, punching something in the face or slicing in the face is a lot better when you can do it harder. Kind of funny how the items juggle on that as well. Ooh. Another note. Archer's Pass. I know that's an area here, so I have to keep it out. And I'm glad he didn't take an arrow to the knee. Oh, that would just be too cliche at this point. And another key. Actually, I don't even know how many keys I have right now. I do know that there's something up here that requires a bunch of keys. I found it during my playtest, so we'll see if we find it again. But don't worry, I'll be completely lost before too long. A chest. Do I want to... We'll leave the chest for now and come back to it in a bit. Because that is the point of Metroidvania games. It's a lot and lots of backtracking. I do know that much at least. Slice and dice. And a new screen.
Wow. It's really beautiful up here.
Yeah. So, any idea where we are?
I was maybe hoping you could tell me.
Oh, silly me. I seem to have dropped all my detailed maps and navigational equipment chasing after a crazy flying sword.
I'm sorry I got you mixed up in this, Fidget.
Well, you should be. Taking my sword, getting me in trouble.
You know, now that I think about it, this isn't the first time I've seen this view. I've stood here before, in this very spot.
Then perhaps you recognize the village at the base of these cliffs?
It's hard to make out from here. We'll need to drop down to the valley floor if we want to get any closer.
Very well. Proceed as you wish, Dust.
Can't leave that guy behind us. And what is that? Another save shrine. And probably should call it about here and pick it up next time for more Dust Elysian tale. So next time we'll be heading towards the village. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then.